Call a meeting to order. Please join me for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you, everybody, for coming. This is our regular council meeting for the first of the May ones. We'll start with a roll call, please.
Weber is excused. Houston?
Present.
Hannah?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Crusader?
Here.
O'Laughlin is excused. Jensen?
Here.
Next, I need a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Next, we move to the public comment. We don't have anything today, so we'll move to the proclamations. We have a few here, so we're going to start with the American Legion Auxiliary Poppy Proclamation. Whereas America is the land of freedom, preserved and protected willingly and freely by citizen soldiers, whereas millions who have answered the call to arms have died in the field of battle, whereas a nation at peace must be reminded of the price of war and the debt owed to those who have died in war, whereas the red poppy has been designated as a symbol of sacrifice of lives in all wars, and whereas the American Legion Auxiliary has pledged to remind America annually of the debt through the distribution of the memorial flower. Therefore, I, Brad Bleichner, Mayor of Independence, Buchanan County, Iowa, do hereby proclaim the 17th and 18 days of May 2024 as Poppy Days, and ask that all citizens pay tribute to those that have made the ultimate sacrifice in the name of freedom by wearing or displaying the memorial poppy on this day. And I've signed this document here. Did you want to get a picture now? Okay, did you want to come up here and have it with... Do you want me to meet you there, or would you like to?
Yeah, why don't you go here and fine.
Okay. Do you want
Bring your wallet.
Okay, where would you like me? I'll stand behind you. How about that?
Okay.
No, you're right here. You're good right here.
There we go.
Is that? 1, 2, 3. Excellent.
I've already signed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Does that money stay local?
Yes. Yes, it all stays local.
Thank you very much.
Here's a donation.
I'll let you shove that in there.
You take the can.
I'll take the camera. Oh, thank you. I got the poppy, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And these are all made down at the...
Thank you.
By veterans, down at the...
And you'll be at Harvey's on Friday and Saturday?
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the second proclamation is the Mental Health Awareness May 2024. Whereas the CDC, mental health disorders, whereas according to the CDC, mental health disorders are among the most burdensome health concerns in the United States. Nearly 1 in 5 U.S. adults aged 18 or older, 18.3% or 44.7 million people, reported any mental illness in 2016. In addition, 71% of adults reported at least one symptom of stress, such as a headache or feeling overwhelmed or anxious. Whereas many people with mental health disorders also need care for other physical health conditions, including heart disease, diabetes, respiratory illness, and disorders that affect muscles, bones, and joints. The costs for treating people with both mental health disorders and other physical conditions are 2 to 3 times higher than those without co-occurring illnesses. By combining medical and behavioral health care services, the United States would save $37.6 billion or $67.8 billion a year. Sorry, $37.6 billion to $67.8 billion a year. Whereas about 63% of Americans are part of the U.S. labor force, the workplace can be a key location for activities designed to improve well-being among adults. Workplace wellness programs can identify those at risk and connect them to treatment and put them in place support to help people reduce and manage stress. By addressing mental health issues in the workplace, employers can reduce health care costs for their businesses and employees. Whereas recognizing that mental health stigma is caused by fear, lack of knowledge and understanding, lack of empathy, negative media portrayals, and labeling. Whereas 43.3% of U.S. adults with mental illness will not receive help. They may avoid seeking treatment because they fear the label, stigma, and discrimination. Evans et al., 2023. Whereas recognizing the best way to combat mental health stigma is to focus on not labeling or acting or using derogatory terms, having open and honest conversations about mental health, and response training such as a mental health first aid. Therefore, I, Brad Bleichter, Mayor of Independence, do hereby proclaim May 2024 as Mental Health Awareness Month in Buchanan County, Iowa, and I've signed this. Did you want to come up and
Get up here and get in that picture. How are you?
you want my gavel again?
Oh, no, I wouldn't know it. So it's good to see everybody again. And mental health initiative for the state of Iowa is Stop and Smell the Flowers. So included, there's an envelope with flower seeds in there. So spread them around.
Thank you.
We'll plant those at MHI.
There you go. Can't wait to see that. So, yeah.
Do you want to bring your people up and take a picture as well?
You want to hold Brett?
Sure.
I'll have to get that back.
Absolutely. Sure. My granddaughter. No.
Oh, that's fine. I'll duck down.
She is.
Stand on the chair, John, but don't fall.
Okay, what is this, R? Looking this way, 1, 2, oh, look at that great smile.
Thank you, folks.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Oh, anytime. Thanks for coming. Bye.
Have a good night. Come again when you can stay longer.
Okay, next proclamation we have is the National Police Memorial Week, May 12th to the 18th of 2024. Whereas in 1962, President John F. Kennedy signed a proclamation that designated May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week in which the date falls as National Police Memorial Week. Currently, tens of thousands of law enforcement officers from around the world converge on Washington, D.C. to participate in a number of planned events which honor those that have paid the ultimate sacrifice. And whereas our law enforcement officers are the guardians of life and property, defenders of the individual right to be free, warriors in the battle against crime, and are dedicated to the preservation of life and property. And whereas the City of Independence honors the valor, service, and dedication of all police officers and publicly salutes the service of each and every one of our own Independence police officers. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Mayor and City Council of the City of Independence hereby proclaim May 12th to the 18th, 2022 as Police Week. 2024, as Police Week in the City of Independence, and call upon all our citizens to make every effort to express appreciation to those men and women that are willing to sacrifice their lives, if necessary, to guard us and our loved ones against all who would violate the law. And be it therefore resolved that we invite all citizens to reflect and remember two Independence police officers, Harold Humphrey Pierce and Pitt McKellen Doxey, who lost their lives in the service of our community. These men will be forever remembered for their ultimate sacrifice, presented this 13th day of May, 2024, and I've signed this. Do I need to change this here on here?
I'll reprint.
Okay. Dave, did you want to?
I'll give you an update related to that during staff time, Mayor.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, Dave, thank you. We all appreciate it. Next, we move to the consent agenda. I need a motion to accept and approve the consent agenda that approves the following: the minutes of the April 22, 2024 regular meeting, the special event application for the 163rd annual 4th of July parade to be held Thursday, July 4, 2024, the Independence Celebrations Committee, Inc., Celebrate Indy Special Class C retail alcohol license that includes outdoor service effective July 2, 2024 through July 6, 2024. Independence Celebrations Committee special event request for the time period of Tuesday, July 2nd, 2024 through Friday, July 5th, 2024. The Chung Garden Special Class C retail alcohol license amendment for ownership updates. So that's the motion I need.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Passes 5-0. Next, we move to the financials. I need a motion to approve the claims for payment.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Passes 5-0. Next, we move to bank reconciliation, which is information only. Does anybody have any questions or comments with regard to the bank reconciliation? Hearing none, we'll move to item number 9, which is the revenue and expenses to date. Again, this is information only. Anybody have any questions with regard to the revenues and expenses to date? Hearing none, we'll move to petitions from the public. Number 10, the FFA presentation. Michael, welcome. Glad to see you again.
Glad to see all of you guys again, too. Today, I'm just kind of here to give you an update with the project, how it's went, and kind of a couple questions and a couple things we like to do moving forward. So first and foremost, again, from the bottom of our hearts at FFA, we greatly appreciate you guys approving that project and moving it forward. The last 2 months that we've had this project going has seen great success in both student engagement and with engaging the community. I know, Mr. Mayor, you were there. I'm trying to remember who else was there. Matt, were you there?
I was not.
You were also there.
I was there. It was a little cold day.
It was a very
there.
cold day. It was a very cold day, but one of the big things of that day, along with you guys coming out and our other supporters, was the Secretary of Ag came out that day, which was a huge photo op for
Yes.
an Independence FFA agriculture-based education, having someone that big in the ag industry. The other thing I like to mention is during the FFA conference that we have, our state FFA convention, he actually spoke about our project. He talked about, during the convention, he made a whole entire little speech about it, kind of talked about the impact of it and how a little bit of what he thought about it. So it's impressive to not only see how it's affected our community, but it's also affected, kind of state Iowa in a way. And I'm sure that's going to get a lot of other FFA chapters trying to do a project now, because now they can get a shout out from the Secretary of Ag.
Sure.
But we've seen great success. The first 2 weeks alone that we had that project up and running, I had 20 kids come to me personally and ask me about joining the ag department or doing an ag education thing. Now, I don't know if they've signed up for it, but just to ask somebody, that's a pretty big step. And I know I had 10 kids already tell me that they want to join FFA now. They have an interest in trying to get more engaged in that program. And just today, I was out there during our PE class. We were doing some walking around the school. And out during that hour, it was a horticulture class, I believe. And Mr. Hayden had the chicken house open, and kids were over there asking questions. So that's not only affecting our ag ed students in our animal science classes, but also our plant science classes. So we've seen so much engagement, and so many kids, get that spark in their eyes, and they're like, wow, I want to learn more about this. I want to get engaged in this. And it's been very impressive. Also, the number of kids I've heard when I'm in their first hour doing stuff for FFA that say, hey, can I go feed the chickens, is absolutely impressive. So we greatly appreciate you guys approving that project. Now, I know there's probably going to be questions on how is this moving forward. So as you remember in our presentation last time we were here, we mentioned we were going to raise chickens in the spring, which is now, and in the fall. So our spring chickens actually tomorrow are getting taken up to Green, Iowa to get processed tomorrow, or I'm sorry, get processed Wednesday morning, maybe brought either Wednesday evening or Thursday morning to the local food bank to help feed our community. So our spring chickens are about out at this point. Now, with our spring chickens, as expected, we lost about 5 of our chickens, and we've also talked to the Independence Lunch Department. They're interested in us raising chickens for them. Now, we want to make a couple improvements to our shed. First off the bat, the shed I showed you guys during our presentation last month is not the shed that's out there. We have a big, blue, beautiful shed. It was brand new, donated to us from a local farmer in the area. Alan Hilliard's dad actually is the one that donated it. And we had a bunch of other supporters with that as well. But with that being said, we're going to make improvements to it. The other thing we want to do is possibly have more chickens in there. Now, this is something that we're debating if we want to do it or not. If we were to do it, the idea would be 30 would go to the community and 30 would go to the school. Now, right now, our plan is to just do 30 for the school in the fall and 30 for the community in the spring. We're not sure how we would go forward with the 60. I mean, we have a couple ideas, but we kind of want to do a little bit of experimenting with it first before we go full 60 right away. If anything, we'd probably raise 40 to 50 if we were going to grow the herd.
Did we do 30 this time?
We did 30 this time. So that's one of the questions we wanted to ask is, instead of having to split it or just do 1 month for supporting school, 1 month for supporting, the community, it'd be better just to be able to support both at the same time. So that's something I wanted to bring up to you guys and ask for your permission, again, to kind of have that go for 5 years and then come back and talk to you guys about it. And any questions are welcome about that. Improvements we are going to add to the building is an outside run, hopefully in the fall. I know some boys that are on the chicken committee are planning on putting that together. Unfortunately, this spring we weren't able to get around to it between the rain and the other weather we had early this spring. But that is one thing we're going to add to kind of give those chickens more room.
Now, the processing is done off-site at a different location.
Correct. All USDA.
So that's where it gets its approval and everything to meet state
Yeah.
regulations and everything?
Yep, and Green, Iowa is where they're being processed. And as far as my knowledge goes, that's the only processing plant that's like small family run that's USDA approved.
Yeah, and it used to be, and I don't mean to interrupt, but it used to be like at MHI, we could grow things in our garden, but we couldn't use it in our kitchens and stuff, and things have changed where it's more local grown. They're really encouraging.
That's why I was wondering if it still had to be approved by the government.
And this
or not.
would be
This
because
would
of the
be.
way it's processed.
Right.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is processing, because that's where you can raise a chicken almost any way and feed it whatever. I mean, you can feed it almost all orange peels and table scraps, and it's probably going to be okay, and it'll probably live a nice, healthy life. The part where you start getting into trouble with it is when you process them, because that's when you can start getting bad bacteria. That's when you can start getting salmonella, from that chicken, and it just is a bad situation if you don't have clean facilities. And that's why they require that stamp of approval from the USDA.
That's why I asked that question, because I
Yeah.
figured it had to be approved.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I appreciate all questions. All questions are welcome.
I don't think there's been any downfalls of it.
There's no downfalls at all, as far as I'm concerned.
Heard nothing but good things, didn't hear anything bad at all.
Good, I'm glad to hear that.
Now, it's always just eating chickens, right?
Correct.
Are you thinking of down the road going into eggs?
I know the two gentlemen that are going to be in charge of it have debated adding additional animals eventually, but as far as my knowledge goes, egg layers have not been part of that conversation.
Okay. I was just curious.
We talked about it a little bit here and there, but for the most part, broilers are easy to raise. It's very nice to show that life cycle process, and that's the biggest thing. That's the hardest thing to teach with animals is that life cycle, because if you raise anything outside of 2 months, it gets really hard to teach that from that, the birth or from that young age to when they're ready to be processed age. So, and broilers just do a great job with that. As far as other animals, I know we've thrown a couple ideas around, goats, rabbits, but those two things, there will be a completely different building, and they will have a completely different plan for it, for you guys. And they probably bring a big old pamphlet like we did last time with the chickens before we would move on with something like that.
So right now, we've only approved the spring 30, is that right? Or what have we approved?
So I believe, if I remember correctly, you approved spring 30 and fall 30.
Okay.
But we're looking for that 60. And like I said, we may go to the full 60 this next fall. We may not. It kind of depends what the school wants to do, because they're going to be paying for part of the chickens that we raise for them. So it's kind of all dependent on that. But we kind of want to just have it ready to go, instead of like, oh, hey, let's do this, and then we got to come back and present it again, and then I know that takes time out of your guys' meeting, and
So can we possibly get that on agenda?
Sure.
By like June or July, so it's ready to go when school starts?
yeah.
Will you bring something more to us, or we just coordinate with Susie in terms of what the verbiage is that you're looking for?
We can definitely put something together for you guys.
I think you need to put something together that outlines what you currently, because looking back at the proposal from September, I think it was September 13th, of 23, November 13th of 23, when you guys came in the first time. The proposal just says, project will consist of 30 broilers raised from early April to late May, possible in September to November if additional funding is acquired. I think we need to kind of clarify exactly what it is you're looking for so the council can make a motion specifically on what you want.
Okay, are you talking for the fall raising, or are you talking for the additional 60?
I would say for all of it, just
For all of
clarify
it.
what it is that
Okay.
you need them to have so that everybody's clear what the council's approving.
Okay.
Because I
Yep.
assume you're going to have the school board approve additions as well, correct?
In terms of raising more chickens, that's mostly just the food department talks to the school administrator about that, and that's okay. In terms of adding more animals, that's when we have to go talk to them about that.
Okay.
Like I said, we've had conversations with them before.
You're graduating now, right?
Correct, I am.
Congratulations.
Thank you, appreciate it.
So do we know who's the person that's going to step up and try to fill your shoes?
Alan Hilliard and Carson Hanaway are the two young gentlemen that are on the committee now. They're pretty much going to be the ones that are going to keep pushing it forward. I told them, if you ever need me, I'll come throw my jacket on again and come help you guys with the program. Because, like I said, we've seen great success with it. We've seen a lot of kids really get that spark in their eye and really want to go after it and really learn more about this program.
Okay, so what we'd like you to do is when you're ready to bring something to us, get something to Susie, and then Susie will get it, we'll get it on the agenda for you
Okay.
guys, and we'll approve it then.
All right, sounds good. Thank you,
I
guys.
want to highly
Yes.
commend you for, of course, I watched you in all the different speech events and everything at school, but you are doing fantastic at your age doing public speaking.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
And
that.
it's really great.
Well, thank you, Ralph. I really appreciate that. But thank you,
Nice
guys.
to see.
Well, thank you. And again, like I said, we really appreciate it. We've seen so many kids get excited about ag in their community, and it's been great to watch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, let's move to item number 11, which is the public hearing. So pursuant to the agenda, I will now convene a public hearing for the fiscal year 2024 budget amendment number 2.
I didn't receive any written comments.
Okay. And there's no comments from here, so I'll now close the public hearing, and the city clerk shall note any comments, which we don't have any. Council's going to approve the number 2 budget amendment at the May 28th, 2024 meeting. So that would conclude item number 11. Item number 12, pursuant to the agenda, I'll now convene a public hearing for the proposal to enter into a sewer revenue loan and distribution agreement. No comments on that.
I did not receive any comments.
Okay, we'll now close the public hearing, and since there's no comments, there's nothing to note for the record. And we then move to item number 13, which is the resolution taking action on the sewer revenue loan and disbursement agreement. So I need a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign the resolution taking additional action with respect to the sewer revenue loan and distribution agreement, and authorizing and approving the securing payment of $2,178,000 sewer revenue loan and disbursement agreement anticipation project note.
So move.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Is there discussion with respect to this? I know we've talked about this at the Committee of the Whole, the work session.
Maybe just explain what we just approved, which is just that little piece of it.
So the purpose of this is to cover the costs associated with planning and design of the wastewater treatment plant improvement project. And that's what the $2.178 million is for. It's a 0% loan until we go to construction, and then it gets rolled over into the construction loan.
Okay.
Is that added into the 43 million that we project, or?
It's included in that already, I
included,
believe. Yeah.
Although this allows us to fund the initial investigation and other engineering costs up front,
Right.
so that we can then have that money that we had there be able to be used for other things instead of having to pay for this.
It's part of the plan to use for the cash payment aspect that we talked about during the work session last week, the 3.7 or so million that we were going to put in as a cash payment. This money will go back into the wastewater treatment plant's accounts so that we have that money then to put towards the construction side down the road. Because initially this was cash funded.
Matt, did you find out, does it go from the 0% to the financing part at the close of construction or when the
Beginning.
construction begins?
Beginning.
At the beginning of the.
When we move over, yeah.
Anything further in terms of discussion?
We're still pursuing other financial.
We're going to talk
Talk
about it.
later.
Okay.
Let's do a roll call vote then.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Prusado,
Yes.
Jensen.
Yes.
Yeah, that passes 5-0. Next, we'll move to item number 14. I need a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a resolution that approves the funding agreement with the Independence Area Chamber of Commerce and for the city manager and city clerk to sign the funding agreement.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. So this, is there any questions or anything further discussion about what we're trying to do here? Is this the money that we previously approved for?
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
part of the,
It was part of the third-party request, but this is the contract.
My question is, it was whited out. Did we change the dollar amount to 2,000 or is that what it was originally?
So when I send the agreements out to the third-party requesters, I have that as yellow. So I tell them, don't fill this out.
Oh, okay,
So I just whited that out so
okay.
I can write over
I
it.
was wondering if there was something
Yeah.
underneath that whiteout or.
Yeah, no,
so
it's,
so it's the same amount that that you guys all previously approved?
I was thinking.
Right.
Okay.
Did we, one question that I had, I know that we reduced some of those, and it made me think, did we earmark money for the RAGBRAI in advance of being chosen, or did we not earmark that and said we would figure that out should we be chosen?
We had money in the budget for it initially.
We did.
And then we knew that we were not going to be selected by the time that we approved and moved forward with the budgeting process, so it
And that
got
was-
moved.
Because that was hotel motel tax, right, if I'm not mistaken?
Portions of it were, yeah.
Portions, okay. And then they were dispersed elsewhere,
yes.
correct? Okay, thank you.
Okay, if there's no further discussion on it, that would be a roll call vote then.
Hannah,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Prusado,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Houston.
Yes.
Passes 5-0. Next, we move to resolution item number 15. I need a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign the resolution that approves the updated TIF LMI set-aside administrative plan.
So moved.
And
Second.
I have a motion and a second. This was on our 2025 budget, we had $170,000 to do home rehab projects using the assumption of $10,000 per project for 17 qualified applicants. And this motion here is approving the TIF LMI set-aside so that we can move forward with these projects once people start submitting applications on them. Are there questions with regard to this?
So it's up to 10,000 or it is 10,000 per person?
It is up to 10,000.
So we could theoretically do more than that
Absol-
based on how much they request?
Absolutely, as long as we're within the $170,000
The
budget.
170,000 is what was included in the budget, so that's the budget authority that we have to use at this point without modifying the budget.
Okay. No, that's not.
And it's important to point out, too, this is LMI money, so it's from the tax increment financing, but it's low and moderate income, so it has to be used for these types of purposes.
Okay. And on June 27th, we submitted our application for the income verification on this, and we're looking to,
They will be.
No. That's just my timeline
Oh.
of how I'm anticipating things happening.
okay, so we're thinking that we're going to start hearing things back in the end of the summer, beginning of the fall for this, and then that's when things will come up next in terms of council items. Okay, so we
So
need,
how are we getting this information out to people?
I will be putting something on the website and sending something to the paper.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so this is a roll call vote then?
Moore,
Yes.
Prusader,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes,
Passes 5-0. Next, we move to item number 16. I need a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a resolution that decertifies certain assessments that were sent to the Buchanan County Treasurer. So I need that motion.
Make that motion.
second.
Motion is second. Matt, do you want to explain what we're doing here?
So this is a result of the house that was at 812 10th Street Northeast. We took that house under 657A, and because we took the house, these are outstanding mowing assessments that had been on the property. Since we've taken the house, it doesn't really make sense to leave those mowing assessments on there because we would have to pay them ourselves and turn around and get the money back, and it's kind of a sunk cost that we knew we would probably be walking out on that in the process of taking it, but the idea there to clean the house up, yeah.
Okay. Further discussion with regard to this? Roll call vote then.
Prusader,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes,
Moore.
Yes.
Passes 5-0. Next, we move to item number 17 under other business. I need a motion to approve and authorize the mayor and the city clerk/treasurer to sign the drainage easement for the $17 recording fee to be added to the previously approved claims listing, and to authorize the city manager to direct staff to facilitate the improvements outlined herein.
So move.
second.
Okay, we talked about this at the last work session.
That's when you had the picture?
Yes.
Yes, this is where the ditch was at up there on 1500 6th Avenue Northeast. And,
So-
where we've had several residents contact us about that area, asking us to
Where
take
the
care of it.
cement was cut out?
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
So like we discussed, the issue here is that because it's private property where the actual dividing line between the two residences, we need an easement to be able to go in to do the work. So
Right.
this is what allows us to create the easement. Further
And
questions?
the landowner is okay with that?
Absolutely, they're in favor. They came to us.
Okay.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, then that would be a roll call vote.
Jensen,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes,
Moore,
Yes.
Prusader.
Yes.
Passes 5-0. Next, we move to item number 18, which is to accept a settlement agreement. I need a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the order accepting the settlement agreement for the tobacco violation. First, I need the motion
so move.
and a second.
Second?
Okay, I forgot which one this was in terms of,
Tobacco King.
is this Tobacco King?
Tobacco
Yeah.
King, if I recall correctly.
It
Okay.
is, it's
What was in the notes?
Yeah, further discussion with regard to that. Hearing none, this will be a roll call vote then.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes,
Moore,
Yes.
Prusader,
Yes.
Jensen.
Yes.
Passes 5-0. Next, we move to item number 19. I need a motion to approve the write-offs for the 2023 submitted by the Independence Light and Power. First, I need a motion,
so moved.
and I need a second.
Second it.
Okay, this is something that comes up every year. These are, Light and Power notifies us of the amounts that they have been unable to collect with regard to the services.
And obviously, they've tried every route to collect it and just can't.
That's right.
Doesn't it seem like it's a lot higher than normal?
It did seem a lot higher.
So I wondered about that too. The yearly comparison that's included, 2018 was
Yeah.
16,000 for everything, 2019 was 11,000, 2020 was 15,000 some change, 21 was 18,000, 22 was 14, 23 was 29,740.
And this is only
So-
8,321.30, so it's
That's
about
the
half
city's-
of what we,
That's the city's
oh, the
estimate.
city's portion.
Right.
And there was a big chunk of deceased on this list also. A lot of deceased.
Well, 11,000, where'd you get 8,000? It's 11,000. Nope, that's the next item.
Oh, sorry about that.
$11,354.29 is this one.
Okay.
I wondered where you were coming from.
I don't know, I was
I
looking at the
noticed that
numbers,
too,
I'm going,
like
that
in
doesn't
each
match up in here at all.
population. I don't know.
Oh,
Okay, so any further discussion with regard to that then?
Yeah.
Is that something we should,
Well,
do anything with?
there's not
the-
too much we can do. I mean,
It's out of our control.
if we had, when you you want to waste attorney fees trying to pursue something that's been determined to be uncollectible, we can spend more money to try to get money, and I'm not sure that always is the best course of action. So I think in this particular instance, it's the right thing to do in terms of the write-off, and, we'll just keep monitoring it and talking to, Light and Power does a good job themselves of trying to collect things, so I think that,
Yeah, but it's exactly true. I mean, it's the way businesses look at it all the time, it's cheaper to write it off rather than spend far more money in attorney fees than what you could possibly collect.
I'm just wondering
It's a
how many of those
catch-22 type
are
thing.
recurring.
I don't know that we even have the information that says that, because these are all listed by account numbers, so.
Yeah, I just
know.
wondered if the account numbers were, how that works.
well, I doubt they still have service if they're in a write-off situation,
Exactly.
Probably true.
so.
Okay.
Okay, roll call vote then.
Hannah,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Crusader,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Houston.
Yes.
Passes 5-0. Next, we move to item number 20. I need a motion to approve the 2024-2025 supplemental agreement with the Iowa Department of Transportation and to authorize the city manager to sign the supplemental agreement. First, I need the motion
So moved.
and a second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. So this one is where we get $8,321.30.
There you go.
Yay.
As part of the supplemental agreement with the Iowa DOT. This is the same amount that we've received the past 3 fiscal years, so it's consistent. Other discussion with regard to this? Hearing none, this would be a roll call vote then.
Moore,
Yes.
Crusader,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Okay, next, passes 5-0. Next, we move to item number 21. I need a motion to authorize it, is it Schutte family to install a bench with a plaque on the south side of the main terminal building at the airport, and to authorize the airport manager to assist with this project.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, this is funded with memorial money from the family, so it's not money that anybody's asking us to contribute to it. They just want to put it at the main terminal building.
And there's a place that it's going to be that it'll be visual to people coming in.
South side of the terminal where people come in the door when they come in to get fuel and stop there and stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of on the south side of the apron there. And so when they go to walk in the door, everybody that flies in will be able to see it. They come in, yeah.
That'd be nice.
It's a very nice contribution.
Yeah.
Very nice. Right. And if there is any upkeep or anything, they will take care of any expenses involved in
So,
that.
yeah, they're looking at a bench that's going to take minimal.
A long time.
Yeah. So, yep.
Perfect.
Okay, any further
very
discussion, any further questions for Brett? Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Brett. Thanks, Brett.
Move to a roll call vote then.
Crusader,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Passes 5-0. Next, we move to item number 22. I need a motion to approve the Code of Ordinance, Chapter 52.02 exemption request from Carla Kula for a conservation area in her yard. First, I need a motion,
So moved.
and I need a second.
Second.
Okay, this is, when we did the ordinances, we determined that every year they would have to come back and reapply, and this is her coming back to reapply, correct?
Correct.
So there's no financial consideration for us, it's just a matter of allowing her to do what we've already agreed can be done as long as we approve it.
So this is a section of her yard that she's set aside for pollination.
That's right.
So there's pollination type plants in there.
It's pretty much her backyard, a little bit on the south side.
That was
The
gonna be
front
my-
yard looks okay.
Is this something that we were looking at as far as building code and things like that? For some reason, I remember our previous
Mowing.
code enforcement had looked at that. I was just curious, is that something we're involved in, or are we voting on that from here?
That's not related to this particular item, but we've talked about looking at mowing as far as like a mowing contract for assistance with those things.
Okay.
But that's unrelated to this item.
Yeah, this is just the annual approval when somebody submits it for.
So it's a
for us.
specific area that they have set aside, and it doesn't, it's like not a problem for the neighbors or anybody that feels it's.
She's got a neighbor on one
visual.
side that doesn't mind it, and the other one doesn't care for it.
I just remember when we approved this before, we said that we were going to somehow keep track of this and make sure that we were looking at them, that they were not just not mowing, that it was something that was an actual cared for area.
Sure. Right. And we'll have,
And hers does look that way,
Good.
if you go look at it close.
That it does look like it's being minded in that.
And there's specific
She's got different
plans.
flowers, and she'll point them all out to you.
Good.
Okay.
okay, further discussion with regard to this? Hearing
I
none,
think
this,
that was our concern.
okay, hearing none, this is a roll call vote then.
Jensen,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes,
Moore,
Yes.
Crusader.
Yes.
Passes 5-0. Next, we move to item number 23. I need a motion to authorize the purchase of the system quoted in the attached document that authorizes the city manager to facilitate the purchase in the amount of $155,249 for the camera system.
So moved.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second.
and all that money was in the budget, right?
$130,000 of it's in the budget. The remaining $25,000 and some change will come from just reserves within the wastewater treatment plant's line items.
If you recall, Travis was at the work session, and we talked about the fact that we were originally going to use the 130, and then we decided that by adding a means to transport it, it made more sense, so we added additional items to it, which is how we came up with the $155,249 number.
So we might want to explain to the people watching that it's not just a camera, it's a specific type of camera that's used for the purpose of,
It's a televising system to allow us to see in sewer lines while they're active.
so that it can save us money and it can help with.
Yeah, I think, Susie, did we have a recent invoice for camera? I want to say that Travis was showing me one that was $68,000 for a quarter of the city.
He got a report from Visu Sewer. I never saw the invoice. I don't know if there was one included or not, but anytime they come, it's a brown envelope with a nice little report of everything they cambered, and I don't know really what's in it.
And if
My
that-
memory is telling me it was in the
And a
neighborhood
bill?
of $65,000 to $70,000 for a quarter of the city.
Right.
So, when you do the math on that, it won't take us long to recoup the cost associated with this.
And also on top of that, if we have a problem, we have the camera
We can respond
to
immediately.
immediately
Yes.
respond to it, where you don't have to wait for an outside company to come in to do the televising
Correct.
and videoing of it. So in the long run, it's money well invested.
Brian?
Sir?
You were checking something, is there something that,
No.
okay.
Brian was dealing with that kind of stuff at work today, weren't you?
Other discussion?
Glad you use it. Find out if you can use it.
No, I just thought it should be nice to explain to the people watching what it is, because if you just look at a purchase of camera, it doesn't really tell you what the camera is going to be used for. And I just
We
think people
included-
need to know it's a very important piece of equipment.
We did include the quote from Mid-America in the packet as well, and there's a whole bunch of detailed information in there about what all's included in that $155,000 prize.
Yeah, I was just looking right here at the agenda. That's
Sure.
all that they were looking at. They wouldn't know.
Okay, let's move to the roll call vote then.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes,
Moore,
Yes.
Crusader,
Yes.
Jensen.
Yes.
Passes 5-0. Next, we move to item number 24. This is a motion to approve a change order number 21 for the Independence Facade Phase 1 project with no change to the contract amount, and to authorize the city manager to sign the change order.
So move.
This is for, go ahead. Sorry, this is for 213 First Street, and we're moving contingency money is basically what we're doing, which is why there's no change in the budget amounts at all. Other discussion with regard to that? Hearing none, this is a roll call vote then?
Hannah,
yes,
Moore,
Yes.
Crusader,
Yes.
Jensen.
Yes.
Houston.
Yes.
Okay, let's move to reports then. Catherine, you want to start with you? Is there anything that you have?
No, I think you're going to talk about you're going to talk about the downtown.
Yes, I
Get
am.
there. So that's all the news I have.
Okay, Brian?
I was just going to ask, obviously, we're in middle of May now, yards that aren't getting mowed are looking horrible, and I was just curious, where did we ever land on the contractor? Did we get bids, Matt?
It's going to be coming at a future work session for discussion. I'm not sure, we're planning to try to get it on the June one.
So currently,
Matt and I've been
we're
working
not
through
anywhere.
that. We haven't, I just didn't get the time to put it all together before with all the transition and everything. But I can tell you that Matt's been out talking to people
Good.
and addressing
Good.
this with people across the city.
Excellent.
Letting them know that they need to be taking care of their property and mowing and doing the things they should be doing.
Perfect.
So,
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Ralph?
The only thing I have is the cemetery committee is going to meet at the cemetery Wednesday at 6 o'clock by the utility shed. And if anybody out there or in the community is interested on what's going on with that, feel free to stop in, 6 o'clock Wednesday.
Okay. And if there's going to be more council members that are going to be attending that besides the two of you? I don't know if Deb was going to.
We're the only two that's went
It's
so
only
far.
been us two so far.
Okay. If anybody else was going to go, then we would need to make sure we posted.
3'd be okay.
Okay. Okay, let's move to, I guess, Deb.
Just one thing I'd add about the yards, when it comes to mowing, is there's a place by me that a bank comes in and mows it on a regular occasion. And I did see the guy, when he stops, he takes a tape measure over there to see it probably has to meet their 6, 8 inches long, whatever. That if we would do that, we would have a picture of it. And then when the yard ends up getting mowed, you've got proof that it was this length.
yeah, we talked about, actually, the city that I was at before I came here, we talked about that with our code enforcement officer about just basically taking a little 2x4 in the same code that had to be 8 inches long, taking a little 2x4 and putting a 6-inch one on top of it, and then you can set that in the yard and take a picture of it and clearly show that it's longer than 8 inches. We haven't done that so far, but we could. It's just it's a time thing, though. I mean, it takes time for him to go out and do that, but he's already, when he drives by and looks at it and sees that it's long, and it's obviously long, that's a
I mean, literally, this guy,
10-second thing.
of
so.
course, he's gonna mow it, but he just gets out, puts a tape measure there, takes a picture with his phone. He's got the proof that it was the length that he was supposed to mow it.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So how do you get the proof, though, that it's the house without getting the house in the background? I mean, is that how they're
Depends on
doing it?
how you take the photo.
Angle the picture so you can see part of the house or
Okay.
something on there.
Because otherwise, that's not my yard. That's his yard.
Anything else, Deb?
Now,
Tom? No. Matt?
Do you want to go first with yours?
Sure, I just have one thing. This is for your advanced calendars. June 22nd, we are we've penciled in our downtown revitalization open house, which would last between 10 and 2, and we'll be talking to the business owners. The idea is that we're going to be
22nd or what day of the week?
Saturday.
Saturday, okay.
We've got some ideas in terms of things that we want to do with it. We'll talk about it at the work session next, in terms of some of the things that we're planning, but ideally, we want to showcase our downtown area. We want to make sure that this is in the newspapers, and it's also on the different TV channels and interviews, and as much as we can to talk about what a great job they've done and how much what an improvement our downtown area is over what it was before. So that's.
And you indicated 10 to 2? Is
Yes.
what you thought that was right?
Yeah, we want to go through the lunch hour because one of the other things we want to do, at least preliminarily, we're talking about is we want to promote our downtown businesses that serve food. And we're going to try to get them to have some type of a special or something, and we want to publish that in the materials that we have as well to try to get people to know, in addition to our businesses downtown, these are the food establishments we have, and this is the kind of food that they have, to again, promote our downtown area.
Good.
Matt?
Three things for the council to know. The Independence Premium Foods Project, Stormwater Project, we should have a hearing notice on that. The agenda for the 28th meeting. Intending to present bids to council and award the contract at the June 24th meeting. Just letting you know where that project is at, that they're continue to work through that.
June 24th?
That's when we intend to put it on the council's agenda for the award of the contract, yeah. They would open bids on the 20th of June.
Okay.
We wanted to remind everybody, especially for those people that are watching, the city does have a way to keep in touch in terms of news announcements and things like that. We routinely post things on the city's website. If you go to the city's website, just independenceia.org, and you add /notify me on the end of it, it will take you directly to the page where you can sign up for notifications from the city. If you sign up for that, you can get an email notification, you can get a text notification whenever a news story or an announcement is posted. We routinely, like trash service alerts, things like that, they always get posted there. So just wanted
Today
to
at
let everybody know.
3:09?
Sorry?
Today at 3:09.
Yep. The other thing to remind everybody too, related to that, is if you are somebody who's more technologically challenged or having issues with getting that set up, the library, Laura, has graciously offered to help people do that. So if you go to the library, she'll help you guys, anybody that needs help, go through that process and get that set up.
Just to add to that, Matt, the notify me without doing the / in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, there's a notify me tab they can go to and fill out that same information.
Okay, thanks. The other thing I was going to give you an update on, so a couple weeks back, I filled out an application with the community project funding for Ashley Henson's office for the wastewater treatment plant and made a request of $10 million. She notified us this morning that she is moving forward with a $4 million amount
Oh, yes.
Excellent.
to be included in her proposal. Now, there's still additional steps that's got to go through, of course, and that number may move again, but that's better than nothing, for sure. So, I mean, $4 million would be 10% of the cost, so just want to let everybody know that happened this morning, so.
Very good job, Matt.
That is very good.
And you said you had a third thing, or did we talk about
That was it.
Okay. Dave, did you say you had something you wanted to report on?
Yes, Mayor. Along with Police Memorial Week, on Wednesday, we are dedicating the 2 plaques and the proclamation badge, or the proclamation plaque of the proclamation that Mayor Kurtz at the time had okayed, for those of you who are on the council, retiring the 2 badges of Officer Doxey and Officer Pierce, who were killed in the line of duty. Nothing had ever been done for them in that vein over the years. So it's been a while, but time constraints on getting badges made and things like that has caused us to get here, and I kind of delayed it until Police Memorial Week this week. So that'll be done with a relative of Harold Pierce on Wednesday afternoon at 1:30 at our PD. A descendant of Officer Pierce is coming and will be there to witness that and to be a part of it. For those of you who can't make it, and I mean, it's open, there's just not a lot of room, and obviously you have to go by your council rules on your quorum, but you can read about it in the Bulletin Journal, because John here, our intrepid reporter, will be there taking pictures and doing a article for us. So I appreciate that. That's all I have.
Dave, one question for you. Can you
Yes.
can you tell us the total number of people that you had here for the K-9 training?
91. And I think it was from like 14 or 15 different states. And I saw them.
And Canada.
Yeah, in Canada. And I saw them coming in as early as Saturday. I saw some squad cars. Actually, one passed me when I was about to get off on 20 there. And
At least you went past you, right?
so yeah, I think if you remember last year when I gave you the report on it, we determined an economic impact of $35,000 to the city over the week. And I think this year we're probably over $50,000 to the city easily on economic impact. Now, it doesn't necessarily pay me back for the overtime spent by Officer Cass and some of the other things, but it's still good for our community. It gets our community out there, it gets people to visit, and gives us a good name within the law enforcement community, especially that canine community.
So I went out there that morning and spoke to them just to welcome them to the community. And there was a couple people, there was two officers that were from Canada that had driven 14, 15 hours to get here. And then there was some from Houston, Texas that had driven all the way up here as well.
California, too.
I saw
Was there some from
California.
California, too?
I saw a CHP car.
Yeah.
And I know the Texas ones are repeats. I know the 3 guys out of Indiana, the master trainers, are repeats. I've talked to them before.
Yeah.
So it's good. One of the other things that was told to me is probably they've outgrown their space at the Pipestone Conference area, and we're going to have to look at something different maybe next year. But what a great problem to have. And so that's already in the planning stages for next year, and it is some money out of my budget for the overtime for Officer Cass and some of that prep time for it. But again, it's a positive thing. You can't take anything negative. I'd also like to give a shout out to one of our local businesses, Hunter Auto, fixed a squad car of an out-of-town officer real quick for him to get him back on the street.
I think he donated a vehicle for training in as well.
Yeah.
Ran it out.
Yep, and then the van that you've noticed at times, that was used all week for training out there as well. So for the $3,000, if we use it over 5 years, it's going to be hardly anything as far as what we're doing it for. And then we
I
have,
noticed both vehicles were gone.
he used both that other squad car and that van.
Okay.
So the squad car, we're still looking at doing something different with, but the van will continue to stay.
We want to express a thank you to Comfort Inn Suites out there too, because they took over that hotel while they were here.
Yeah.
Probably
So,
much
and
better
you
than
think
the
about-
wrestling team or somebody.
Well, but you think about, I mean, all those officers have dogs in there, and those dogs have to sleep somewhere.
Yep.
So,
That's true.
And they have a pet policy that they allow them, but they do a little extra work. But it does fill that hotel where their normal occupancy rate during the week, during this time of year, is very low. So they're filling the hotel all week. That's hotel motel tax as well as dollars spent in our community. So I'm happy.
Oh,
that
wonderful.
it's been done. Yep.
Thank you,
And
David.
every year, it seems to keep growing, correct?
It does because it's high-quality training. And and the other thing to remember is it's at zero cost to us. There's not a cost to the department for all those people to come in and do that. That's all funded by Dogs for Law Enforcement. Again, our cost is there, but it's minimal and it's within my budget where I plan on spending it every year with that, so.
Thank you, Dave. Excellent work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry. Need a motion to adjourn then?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Stand adjourned.